Hello Internet, this is Wade_A speaking and welcome to my Shopkins show. Today we are going to be opening a Shopkins Season 2 12-pack. So here are all the characters. Hey guys, welcome back to the final episode of Wade's Winter Wonderland for this season. As you can tell, today is a sort of special video for me. This is going to be a 3-in-1. This is going to be my 1000 subscribers special, my end of year special, and also my 10 years on YouTube special. For me, this video has been a long time in the works. I started scripting this back in May when I was going to try to release it for my actual anniversary, but that didn't end up panning out. But regardless, this video is going to be divided into a few sections, I guess. There's going to be a main retrospective block with more narration, sort of similar to my commentary videos. That part is scripted. And then there is also going to be a Q&A section, which you guys graciously offered up your questions for, and that will be towards the end of the video. Sorry that my hair looks a bit weird, sorry that I'm sweating, and if you've been with me for a while, you might recognize my background. This is my desk. I used to film most of my reactions standing here in this very spot, and I would suffer this exact heat because my bedroom is very, very hot. I have 3 panels of windows in front of me and they get direct sunlight. But regardless, let's just start with the narration. It only felt right to start from the very beginning. Before the commentary videos, before K-pop, before any sense of direction at all, this channel started with a kid who just really loved YouTube. To give you some context, I started my YouTube channel right as 6th grade was ending. I even posted about it on Instagram when I made it. At the time, I genuinely wanted to be the next Radio JH Audrey or Cookie Swirl C. Obviously, that didn't happen, but what did happen was that my love for YouTube started growing way earlier than it probably should have. Having completely unfiltered internet access was questionable, but I'm also not mad about it. So I did it. I made a YouTube channel. I asked my grandma to take me to Toys R Us so I could buy my very first pack of Shopkins because I wanted to film myself opening them. I borrowed my mom's camera, which slowly but surely became my camera, and using a TV dinner table as setup, I filmed my very first video. During middle school, I stayed in my own little world. I posted unboxings, hauls, talked to the camera, and honestly, just existed online in a way that felt safe and fun. That bubble didn't last forever though. Eventually, some of my classmates found my channel. Now, looking back as an adult, I don't think they intended to be as mean as they were, but at the time, it affected me. A lot. There were stretches where I'd go months without uploading because of comments I had received and the worry that I'd get teased about it. I'd delete them almost immediately, but that didn't stop them from hurting. That was probably the first time I realized that sharing something you love publicly can come with consequences, even when you're just a kid having fun. As time went on, my content started to evolve along with my interests. I began incorporating art and cooking into my videos. By the time I entered high school, I felt like I had finally found my rhythm. I was posting 2 videos a week pretty consistently, usually an art video on Fridays, and Wednesdays was a free-for-all. Sit-down videos, vlogs, conversations with my brother, friends, and eventually even one of my dad's coworkers. Most importantly, I never lost my spark for making videos. Speaking of sparks, that brings me to art. Originally, I knew I couldn't unbox toys forever, so art felt like a natural next step. I've always loved drawing, even though I never quite fit into formal art spaces. I tried enrolling in an after-school program once, but I couldn't draw fruit well enough to get in. And honestly, I've never tried again, so maybe I'm better now, but I don't know. Art gave me a way to express myself, and it helped that a lot of my friends were really into art at the time. So I leaned into it. Was I good? That's debatable. There are still some drawings I'm genuinely proud of, but I never fully committed to it the way I wanted to. To this day, I can't draw eyes on a character to save my life, but I still love art. Pencils, watercolors, paints, all of it. During this era, I saved up all my money and bought a nice camera so I could improve my video quality. I had such a tight schedule for myself, and honestly, I kind of missed that routine. It kept me constantly creative and pushing myself. That consistency is what really cemented my love for creating videos. Eventually though, I had to admit something. Art alone wasn't sustaining my passion for entertaining. I didn't yet have the technical skills to do the ambitious projects I wanted, so I slowly drifted away from drawing, even though it was a big part of my online identity. Ironically, it still gave me my most viewed video to this day. A paper comparison. Around this time, I started enjoying less structured, more personality-driven content. Vlogs, casual videos, and just talking to the camera. And that led me to my next era. I started vlogging school field trips, having friends over, and just doing random things. This was the peak of my personality content. Cleaning my room, vlogging at Walmart, even going to Chuck E. Cheese's because of a Shane Dawson video. I also uploaded some school video assignments to the channel because if I ever had the chance to do a video instead of a written assignment, I was absolutely taking it. Which brings me to one of the most important things I've ever made. If you don't know Rosio, I don't blame you because it's in Spanish. For my health class, we had to write a script about a topic from a list that we could choose from. I chose teen pregnancy. Controversy aside, this project was genuinely pivotal for me. I asked my teacher if I could act out the script instead of just turning it in, and she said yes. Shout out to her! Even if my classmates didn't love her, she always supported me creatively. With her permission, I filmed what would become the pilot episode of Rosio. It followed a 15-year-old girl who gets pregnant after one night with her boyfriend in a mall parking lot. The first episode was more information heavy, if you can even call it that, but when I uploaded it, I received an overwhelming amount of support. Partly because my teacher played it in class without warning me, and partly because, at least in my school, no one else was doing something like that at the time. So naturally, wanting to entertain, I decided to make it a series that summer. I set a completely unnecessary deadline of releasing an episode every week leading up to my birthday. The result? A 4-episode season with a total runtime of like 15 minutes. Looking back, I bit off way more than I could chew, and if I could go back and make it longer, I would, but I also feel it gives the series a sort of charm. Unfortunately, not long after, my grandma passed away and my life was never really the same. She had lived with me my entire life, so losing her changed everything. She never really understood my YouTube videos because of the language barrier, but Rosio was something she could follow since it was in Spanish. You can even hear some of her voice in the background of episodes and in the bloopers. Sharing that with her and having those little clips of her voice is something I'll always cherish. After her passing, I took a break that I genuinely thought would be the end of my channel. But when the new year started, I came back with field trip vlogs and slowly found my footing again. Then COVID hit, effectively ending my school life as I knew it. At first, I thought it would be temporary. I even made a Rosio special about it that got suppressed because I used the word coronavirus. Eventually, I realized that summer would be very different than I thought. So I locked in. I was going to my aunt's house every day because my brother and I would help take care of her mom, and eventually we even started taking our classes there. But before I get ahead of myself, that summer I was truly on fire. 3 videos a week I was proud of, and I just kept going. And because I had time on my hands, I decided to do something crazy. Back around October of 2019, I think, my friends and I shot what was going to be titled the Rosio movie. Remember when I said I bit off more than I could chew? This is what I was talking about. We filmed essentially an entire movie in the span of a few hours. They played multiple characters, and the plot was centered around going to Paris. I hyped it up to my friends and even invited them over for a movie premiere. I was gonna make it like a red carpet and everything. Well, as close as a 16-year-old could do that on my bake sale income. I stayed up all night editing it, and it was about 45 minutes long. And then the power went out and I lost everything. It was like 4 in the morning and I had class at 8, and the last thing I had saved was maybe around like 9 or 10 p.m, which was the first 5 minutes. I crashed out. I canceled the premiere, I canceled the movie, I was done with the show. But fast forward to next summer 2020, I had all this free time, so I decided to rework it into a second season, roughly following the same story beats as the movie. I included some original footage, but reshot my parts to better align with the story for the season, and it was a hit. I mean, for my channel at the time, it was pretty big. My videos would get below 100 views after my break, but this video hit almost 400, and after that, the episodes would consistently get almost 150 views each, which was back to my prime, with the final episode breaking 300 again. Honestly, that season's like my magnum opus. But afterwards, I was a bit bored. Since school had started virtually and I had accepted my interest in K-pop, I did another pivot and did a reaction to Twice's More and More English version. That video did pretty well, and since reactions were popular at the time, I decided to give it a go. That sort of brings us to more modern times. I would post K-pop reactions and vlogs all the way into college with special cooking videos or phone unboxings thrown in. I went and did a lot of cool things with my friends, and I'd film almost all of it. But slowly and subconsciously, because my reactions would perform better, I did more of them. Then I almost died because I got sick and ended up in the hospital for a while, but after that, I went ham on reactions and K-pop content. Which leads us to about a few months ago when I posted my second most viewed video at the time, and the video where a lot of you probably found me from, the future of Red Velvet. That video changed me. I gained hundreds of subscribers after that video and after my pivot to commentary, which was a pivot I had been wanting to make for years. I think I've even talked about it on the channel before. So to all of those who found me recently, thank you for making my 10th anniversary very special to me. It relit a fire under me to keep going and push myself further. And push myself further I did. After the success of that video, I dove headfirst into making commentary videos. From album reviews and opinions to more conceptual-based content, I have been grinding for the last few months, and it paid off. I've always had the hope that this year would be the year I'd hit 1,000 subscribers, and for once, it actually happened. Right before the season of Wade's Winter Wonderland premiered, I posted my Let's Talk About Girl Set video, and that video popped off more than I could have ever imagined. It's now currently my second most viewed video, and it helped me reach 1,000 subscribers before December even started. Because of that, I decided to go ahead with my delusional plan for the season, posting 3 times a week with shorts posted in between. And I actually did it. Technology wasn't on my side at times. From internet issues to file corruption and copyright battles, I still managed to post 3 times a week. The shorts sort of fell to the wayside at times, but the commentary video still went up. Filming in advance definitely helped, but it was still very stressful. However, I wouldn't change it for the world. The amount of support I have received, the kind comments, the opinions shared, it all means the world to me. I've more than tripled the amount of subscribers I had at the beginning of the year, which at the time felt impossible. And that's all thanks to you. I haven't been this consistent since high school, and I'm very excited about it. But where does that leave us in the future? There's a few things I want to do. First of all, I want to eventually change my channel icon. I did a whole photo shoot back when I was planning this video for May, but I never got the chance to finish it, so I'll probably take some new ones. Regardless, it's a necessary change because my pic is from like when I was 14 or 15. I'm 22 now, and as you can see, I feel like I've changed enough to warrant it. And speaking of change, there will be some changes to the channel. Nothing that would affect you guys, since I'm not going to stop doing commentary anytime soon. It's more of a change for me. I've created 2 new channels to sort of house my other interests that no longer have a home here. One is Wade_vlogs, name is subject to change, because I want to get back to documenting my life as a sort of digital diary, and the other is titled Wade's Workshop. That one is for more home-based content and eventual woodworking that I would love to try. I also want to eventually revive my gaming channel, which I never mentioned throughout this video, but I don't really know what that would look like. As well as I would also like to announce that I am working on a new season for Rosio. I haven't fully ironed out the details, so don't expect anything crazy or concrete just yet, but I'll make a video whenever that's ready to be announced. However, to hold you over, in the next few weeks, I'll be working on making the first season available in vertical format for social media. Speaking of social media, in the past year, I made a fashion Instagram called Wade's Closet, where I've been posting some get ready with me's, and I plan on posting more. But truthfully, I wanted to get this video out as a sort of bookmark so I can mentally allow myself to do things on other platforms. Don't worry, you'll still be getting weekly content from me on here, but I also wanted to create space for my other passion projects. However, this channel is still my main priority, because of which, let's get into the Q&A segment. Welcome to the Q&A portion of this video. I don't know how well the audio quality is going to be because even though I am using my mic, it's like 4 p.m. So there's still gonna be cars driving by. And so I'm gonna try my hardest to not let those sounds affect the recording. So for this section, I wanted to give a special shout out to Wolf Julian, Oliver Balo1234, Minnie Masuo, and my friend who wanted to stay anonymous for providing your questions for this segment. I have divided them into sort of different categories, so not all of these are in order that they were asked, and they're not like grouped by person. Also, same warning as my intro, it's hot. My kitchen fan is on, so that's giving me a little bit more air, but still I might be sweating a little bit, and if that makes you uncomfortable, my apologies. I sincerely apologize. Anyways, so I'm gonna get the questions that are directly about me as a person out of the way. First question is, what are some interesting facts about you? So I wouldn't say that I'm really that much of an interesting person. I'm 22, I live in Puerto Rico, I speak English and Spanish fluently, and I also do that for my job, like my day job. I'm also very slowly trying to learn Korean. That was a very large truck. I'm also slowly trying to learn Korean. I think a lot of us are, but very slowly. Interesting facts about me. I don't know if this is considered interesting, but I guess I would consider myself like an overachiever. I've always liked to be good at what I do, regardless of what it is, and regardless if I've done it before or not. I guess that makes it more of a perfectionist rather than an overachiever, but that extends into making videos. That's something that I do pride myself with. I try to do the best that I can with what I got. So right now I'll insert a picture of my current setup. I'm currently on the floor. I got one of my studio lights. Ideally I'd have the other one over here, but I felt kind of lazy. My mic is stacked on my Christmas gift boxes, and I have my computer on the side recording the audio because I want this to be as good as possible. But yeah, I don't think that there's really much interesting about me. So the other question that's sort of more me as a person related is, what are some of your favorite video games and movies? For video games, I'd say Minecraft. I grew up playing that game. I still try to revisit it every now and again when I have the time or when I just boot up my computer and just feel like playing it. I will always have a very big soft spot for that game. It's what inspired me to want to make gaming videos. I know I mentioned that I didn't mention it in the video, but I do have a gaming channel that I have not uploaded to in like 5 years. And the only videos that I did on that channel were the Sims 4 videos, which that has aged pretty poorly given the current state of EA. But it is something that I'd like to revisit. I would want to I am interested in making like Minecraft videos. I don't know what that would look like, but it is something that is on my wants list as more of like a passion project to really fulfill that side of my childhood want. And then the last one is one that I saw like a few days ago recently, and it was asking how I write so well. So this one might be a little bit of a depressing answer, but I am a very anxious person. I am very comfortable speaking directly to the camera. I have no issues with being on camera, given that I have gotten used to it over the past 10 years. However, in real life, I have a very big fear of being misconstrued or having my words be twisted or misunderstood. So even when having a regular conversation, I give a lot of like warning and pretext and context and sort of beat around the bush a lot before getting to my point, because I never want to like offend somebody or have that person not know that I am trying to come from the least aggressive, mean place possible. And that sort of reflects itself in my writing, I feel, especially now that I do a lot of more critical commentary. So ever since I was little, I always just loved creative writing. I used to write a lot of stories. I have notebooks upon notebooks. Of just like stories. I used to write on Wattpad, even though it was very, very bad. And I've just always loved the art of creative writing. Being able to use your words to describe something and take somebody to that place, to me, is very powerful, because the mind is very powerful. And I'm not going to get into that whole aspect of it. But when it comes down to YouTube, I think I've mentioned it quite a few times throughout this video. My main passion is being able to entertain. And that could be dug into what that says to me, what that says about me as a person and my like psychological traumas and stuff. But being able to provide something that is of value to somebody is very important to me. And so if I am able to blend one of my biggest interests, which is music, and specifically like K-pop, and be able to try to explain or put into words what certain songs, albums, or artists make me feel, whether that is positive or sometimes negative, to me is something that I have enjoyed doing and love to spend time honing, especially during this season of Wade's Winter Wonderland, since I was pumping out a lot more videos than I usually do. At certain times, it did feel like I was milking my brain for content, I guess, which is not the healthiest thing to do. I definitely should have planned even more ahead than I already did. Which is also, nobody has commented about this, but I have noticed it now, like looking back. I did use a lot of similar like transitions between my sentences and similar descriptors, but because I was bulk writing a lot of these together, it kind of all just blended together, which is something that I will try to correct in 2026. But as for like writing, I've been inspired by a lot of like different commentary creators, but specifically I enjoy the fact that I'm able to sort of curate what I say, and having that control is part of what makes it really appealing to me. That was a very long-winded answer to basically just say, girl, I'm anxious, so I do be descriptive with what I say. So now about more K-pop questions. So this first question is, how did you get into K-pop? When and through which artists? So if you've seen my Let's Talk About Boy Groups video, I mentioned in that video that around like 2009, 2010, I stumbled upon G by Girls' Generation, and my life was effectively never the same. This song, being so catchy, infectious, and just bubbly and fun, did something to like my 6-7-year-old brain, and I was immediately enamored by it, and I just couldn't stop playing it. And then, given that I had unfiltered internet access, which is yikes, I would just be playing Girls' Generation, and then that led me into playing Shiny while I was like playing Flash games online. And even though I didn't know it was K-pop, I enjoyed it. I knew it was a foreign language because I couldn't understand it, but also part of me just caught the vibe, you know? So I'd say like through Girls' Generation and Shiny and mainly SM artists is what got me into K-pop, and that sort of planted the seed that lay dormant until like 2019, where I was like, okay, I'm getting ads for like Mamamoo, Twice, and I can't deny the fact that I like this anymore. But like I mentioned in that video, I had a lot of preconceived notions, a lot of prejudice against people who listen to K-pop based on what I would see online and the different kids that would listen to K-pop in school. And then I just kind of said, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and listen to this. And throughout sort of 2019 and the beginning of 2020, I would just listen to it in secret. And then once the pandemic started, I sort of had no choice but to sort of confront it. And during that one night, I was at my aunt's house with my brother, and we were just playing random videos. That's when he was also getting into Twice. And then, I don't know why, I stumbled upon one of my favorite girl group songs ever. It might be my favorite. I don't know if I would go as far as to call it that, but The Boys by Girls' Generation. If you know me, if you know my friends, I'm so sorry, Mariel. I love this song. Anytime it comes on shuffle, it is being played. I listened to that song like when it came out, and I had it memorized, and I did not know that. So when this video starts playing, I'm like, wait a damn minute, like y'all look familiar. And then as soon as once that started, I was like, and it just flowed out of me, and I was like, wait, what is happening? Like, how do I know this song? And then it just kept happening. Once Galaxy Supernova came on, I was like, wait a damn minute, I know this song for real, for real. And then I started singing along to that one. And then Sexy Love, oh my god, I forgot it's another Tiara song. I forgot the name of the song, but they're like in this like weird dystopian like music video. I don't know. Very good song. But I started noticing that I had heard all of these songs already, and I loved them, and I didn't know that they were K-pop, and that sort of smacked me into reality, into like, crap, I've been like K-pop, you know? Next question, we have, why did you decide to make K-pop themed videos on YouTube? So like I mentioned previously, when the pandemic started, I was sort of bored with my content. I couldn't really go out and hang out with my friends like I had been doing. And given that I had accepted myself as a K-pop stan, I decided, you know what? Reactions are pretty popular right now, and Twice just dropped an English version of one of their most recent title track. I should check it out on camera. And at that point, I did watch a lot of like music reactions, a lot of just like movie and different types of reactions. So I felt like it would have been like an appropriate pivot. And in my brain, I thought that that was gonna be like a pivot, and I was gonna hit it big. I did not hit it big, girl. Still haven't. But having heard that song and sort of doing that reaction video, I sort of slowly started going into like more music based reactions. So I did like Little Mix, I did Ariana Grande, and then eventually I started covering more Twice, and then more K-pop and Mamamoo, and things sort of progressed until I was almost exclusively covering K-pop acts. And then after a while, the only outlier was like Sabrina's Short and Sweet. And I think it was just the perfect storm of having this new hyperfixation and my sort of want/need to pump out videos during the pandemic to sort of keep me occupied during that summer. So next up, we have any K-pop artists you want to stan right now. So I'd say that I want to get into more like boy groups, I guess, since I've accepted that part of me as well. And I want to sort of get deeper into the ones I already listened to. I'd love to listen to more like ATEEZ, 17, Zero Base One. I have to listen to their back catalog. But a lot of these like groups that have like hundreds of songs that I've only sort of recently gotten introduced to, I'd like to become like more familiar with them. I'm already familiar with a lot of their like members and singles, but I'd like to sort of broaden that so that I could say that my taste is sort of equal-ish. And also that goes for soloists as well. I mentioned in my previous video that I've been replaying Juni's album non-stop, and so I'd love to sort of dive into his discography and sort of listen to more of his back catalog that I haven't really gotten the chance to listen to yet. And my camera battery is dying, so we're gonna do a quick little pause and I'm gonna switch that. The angle might not be the same, so I'm sorry. I think that's closer to how it was. I am unsure. Anyways, next question is artists you listen to outside of K-pop. So like I mentioned in my previous video, I listen to a lot of Flo, Sabrina, Ariana, Five Sauce, Twee, but I don't really listen to any non-K-pop artists anymore. Not because I don't want to, but because I've been so consumed with making K-pop content that I haven't really had the time to sit down and listen to other bodies of work, with the exception of Sabrina and Flo. But I haven't even listened to Eternal Sunshine. And if you've seen my channel, I used to be a very big Ariana Grande fan, so I gotta sit down and listen to it. Next question we have: which K-pop groups do you think deserve more attention? Now for this one, I'd say mainly like From S9, WJSN, Stacy to a certain extent, and Vivis. All of these groups have like very special places in my heart. Out of all of these, I've seen Vivis and Stacy live, and both of them are incredible live. I wish if From S9 goes on tour that I am able to see them, but I wouldn't hold my breath on that. But I've mentioned a lot more recently, and I've been a lot more vocal about my love for WJSN, especially because I feel like they're gearing up for something, especially considering that next year is their 10-year anniversary. But their account has been posting a lot more content with all the members that are currently under the agency. So I'm crossing my fingers that we get something next year. Please, God, I'm begging. So this one is a very cool sort of out of the box question. It says, what K-pop group or soloist do you think could make a great Spanish debut apart from NMIXX? So for this one, I'd say specifically Chungha. I know that she technically already did because she released Demente, I think that's what it was called, her collaboration with Guayna, which, ironic, Guayna is from Puerto Rico too. Like, he was raised like 20-30 minutes away from where I live. So that's kind of, the world is so small. But she already, I believe she said on like a Hello 82 video that she wanted to do more Spanish music, or that she was interested in doing Spanish music. And I know that she can speak like a few words, and I'm also pretty sure that she has like a bigger like Latin Hispanic audience. So I think that would be very, very cool. As well as like Wono, he spoke in Spanish on some of his songs. And then lastly, Card. They do a lot of more Latin inspired music, and a lot of their songs just include Spanish words in general. So I think they would do pretty well, especially Card, considering they have a very big sort of Latin American audience. They've come to Puerto Rico twice, and I saw them once already this year. It was gonna be 2 times, but those tickets were a little pricey for a Tuesday show. Anyways, that's not important. That's not important. So next up, we have any song recommendations. So first off, anything off of Haechan's Taste album. That album is so good. I cannot stress it enough. If you haven't seen my review video for that album, or if you haven't seen my award show, that album is so good. As well as any of the songs off of Null by Juni, his like latest release, but specifically Weight of Time. It is like 7.5 minutes long, I think, but it's such an interesting song. It goes through like different phases, and it's kind of like 3 songs in one, both lengthwise, but also structurally, not like an NMIXX change up. Oh my god, my voice broke. Not like an NMIXX change up, like it's a drastic switch. The song kind of just evolves and flows into the next section, and it's been stuck in my head ever since I heard it. Like, that is hands down my favorite song off the album, which also technically feels like a cop-out since it's like 3 songs. So now we are getting closer to the end of the questions. We have, what are other K-pop themed content creators you recommend that deserve more attention? I don't know about deserve more attention, because I believe all of these people have a lot more subscribers than I have, and probably than I will ever have. But before I got into making commentary content, I used to watch a lot of Cho Jimmy and Mera. Specifically Cho Jimmy, I really liked his style of like commentary. I believe he still makes videos. I think so, because I know Mera stopped like 2 or 3 years ago. But ever since I started making more commentary videos on YouTube, I sort of stopped watching K-pop commentary, not because I don't enjoy it, but because I have a very large fear, this ties into the whole anxiety thing, about letting somebody else's opinion influence my own. So if I'm going to review an album or something, I cannot watch anybody else talk about it because I don't want that to sway my own opinion, if that makes sense. In a different category of K-pop content, not really consistently, like I'd say like last year and the year before, my brother and I used to very consistently watch Noodles Myoung. She does like top 10 list type videos, and as well as like Kville Entertainment, they're like K-pop charts. My brother and I used to watch those religiously. More like vocally focused, I also like Ain't No Other Fan. He does a lot of like vocal analysis. He started off with like regular like artists, which is how I found him, and then he slowly evolved into covering almost exclusively K-pop, which is sort of similar to my trajectory, except he is much more successful than I probably ever will be. But those are some of the channels that I've watched and or continue to watch that are like K-pop related. The last two questions are specifically the ones from my friend because they wanted like more specific 2026 questions. So they asked, what do you have planned for 2026? Now for the channel, I have planned the long-awaited ITZY video. That video is going to be up next year, even if it's the last thing I do. The research for it is done. I have to like sit down and like script like certain parts that I'm missing. But I have been working on this video since like 2023, I believe. So it's been almost like 3 years in the making. So I really hope that you guys enjoy it. The way that I'm planning on doing it is doing one massive video. And when I say massive, I mean it's going to be like a multi-hour deep dive because it's one video that's comprised of sections that could be their own videos. And then after that video is posted, I'm thinking of posting the videos individually. I might post a little poll. Would you prefer mine? Maybe not in this video. Before I post it, I'll make like a community post asking if you guys would rather watch them episodically first and then have a big block, or the big block first and then do it episodically, so that I know how to do this rollout, because each section could be its own individual video, and some of the sections are based on concepts that I've already covered on the channel previously, which leads me to, I do want to revisit videos that I've already done, but for other artists. I've mainly done them for twice, so like I'd love to give other groups individual solo albums, or just give different groups like albums. So I'm planning on doing one for giving WJSN a comeback, because Starship won't. That's the working title. Nobody steal that, please. I'm begging you. But I'm planning on doing that, as well as the other series that I keep teasing, sort of like the why blank didn't work. So Chewy's album, Lisa's album. I plan on revisiting a lot of albums that I've covered and other albums that I just never got the chance to in that series, and a companion series, which is the complete opposite. So like why blank album works, at least like in my own personal opinion. As well, like I mentioned previously in the like main breakdown section, I guess, I want to release other types of content, because I have been really getting that creative itch to do other things recently that I used to have the freedom to do, but now since I've sort of pigeonholed myself into this concept of like K-pop content, I can no longer do on this channel. But that's stuff that I'll figure out the logistics of that in the future. The last question is, what are you most looking forward to in 2026? So I'd say probably seeing Twice again. I'm gonna go see them. I've seen them twice already, and genuinely they put on the best show that I have ever seen, and the best sort of K-pop concert that I have ever went to. But next year is also going to be a sort of big year for me personally. I do have a lot of like travel plans that I hope I am able to execute, and those will probably, I know for a fact that they will be recorded. I don't know if I will post them, or if I do, it would be on these other channels, because I have several like trips that I've taken where I've recorded like a lot of it, and I just have that sitting on my hard drive because I don't really have somewhere to put them anymore. I hope that I got to everyone's question. I tried my best to like sift through like my videos and the community tab and sort of really answer all the questions that I got. If I didn't get to your question, I'm honestly really sorry. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and I could reply to them there, or wait until next year and I could do that. But yeah, without any further ado, let's go to the final section. Wow, now I'm on the other side of the Christmas tree. How original. But for this last outro section, I'm going to sort of read my outro because I wanted you to see me, but I also wanted to have that more curated aspect like I mentioned previously. Again, so sorry for my hair and for the sweat. We're almost over, I promise. Before we wrap things up, I wanted to take a moment to thank everyone. Firstly, my parents for not really freaking out when they found out I made videos, but specifically my dad, who's been encouraging me with this new little bit of success. I also want to thank my friends, both new and old. If you've ever been in one of my videos, thank you. If you've been in multiple, like a lot of you have, thank you. Even though I may not talk to a lot of you, regardless of the reason, know that you have a very special place in my heart, regardless of what happens. A lot of these videos serve as a time capsule for both me and my friends to look back at a small window of our teenage years. So I'm truly extremely grateful for the opportunity I had to be able to record and capture as much of it as I did. So whether you've been here for 10 years watching me unbox Shopkins and other toys, or you joined when I was comparing 2 pieces of paper, or maybe you joined last week with a commentary video, just know that I appreciate you and your support so much. Not the car when I'm doing my emotional moment, but I can't truly express to you guys how much it means to me and how much I appreciate you all being here and for giving me the opportunity to chase my dreams. That's it. In the new year, I still plan on giving you the same type of content and hopefully of the same or better quality that you're used to. I am not going anywhere because I still have a lot of ideas. We've got series, specials, deep dives, and so much music that's yet to be released that we have to cover. So with that being said, remember that I love you all so much, and I'll hopefully see you guys for another 10 years. Bye!